My husband ghosted me for 2 weeks because he has borderline personality disorder.
Ooh, 2 weeks?
He's not talking yet. My husband, 38 male, and I, 40 female, met just over 2 years ago and fell head over heels. We are total opposites. He's a free spirit from the Midwest. I'm very type A and have a steady lifestyle. Not always. I was quite the adventurer through my 20s. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder when I was 14 and have been medicated on and off since. Been working on that for the last 9 years and it's worked very well for me. He was the first person who just kind of took it for what it was and respected my flare-ups / anxiety without questioning it or making me feel crazy. I showed him a more posh / city lifestyle and helped him with adulting. He grew up doing things by word or by handshake. By the way, this comes from effing unicorn Bialch from the r/OK storytime subreddit. Try taking that down, things. He showed up with a crap car and all his belongings fit inside. He showed me adventure and letting loose a little. I owned my house for 6 years, had good credit and a great job. We got married after 5 months. We got a convertible in my name. He had no credit. 2 kittens. 3 puppies on top of my 4 cats I already had, started a landscaping business, got a grand piano, a hot tub, and I got him tons of little I wanted to try gifts. Point being, he said jump, and I said let's do it. Here's some money. I felt very uncomfortable with much of this, but just saw it as stepping a little bit out of my bubble. We both love to go out and drink, sing karaoke, explore, etc. However, his drinking started getting out of control and he would get into rages, not necessarily at me, but start freaking out, and there was no way to get him to a rational place or even to sleep like most wasted people. I had to call the cops one morning at 4 a.m. because it was like he had taken hard substances, he didn't, and was running around all sorts trying to drive, and I couldn't just keep him still, stay inside, stay quiet, sleep, or anything like that. Then the next morning, there's the apologies. We all know the drill. No excuses, but he has an incredibly traumatic childhood, so we sort of chalked up these episodes up to working through those issues. The next section is titled Substance Abuse and the Decline. He stopped drinking and he switched to
the devil's lettuce.
The devil's lettuce. I do not partake, and made it very clear that I don't want to be in a partnership with someone who does. I think it's great that it's legal. No problem with others doing it. It's just not something I want in my relationships, as I have had horrible experiences with it in the past. We love context. I don't get why people think this is such a harmless substance. He knew this from day one, but if it meant quitting drinking, I was willing to work with him. As I warned him it would, it escalated quickly. He switched to those concentrate pens and was basically mentally checked out of our relationship. Whereas we had spicy sleep 1 to 3 times per day most days, now it was nothing. He became very irritable, withdrawn, lazy, and accusatory. He was constantly complaining about everything, constantly. The world is against him. All he does is work. All I do is nag and take, etc., etc. I've been the breadwinner the entire time. I won't even get into finances, but we'll just say most people describe his behavior as parasitic. Things were awful for basically a year after he started smoking. I drank heavily to drown my own depression. Oh no, that's not good. I asked him to help me with this, but he complained that I drank too much, then bought me more drinks to appease me and gave himself an excuse to get high. This is not a winning cycle here.
Y'all are accelerating each other's issues right now, it seems.
He lied constantly about how much he smoked, which he has since admitted to. We have the next section titled Ghosting. At 1.5 years married, 2 years since we met, almost to the day, we get in a fight and he just leaves, which he's done many times, but always came back after a short bit or a few hours. I went to bed. I woke up around 1 a.m. This is embarrassingly petty to even write, but he's always threatened to post on Facebook that we broke up because then it's official. So I checked Facebook and I'm blocked. I used another account and he is single. Ooh, it's not Facebook official anymore. I wish you could see my eyes rolling and how cringy I felt right now. For 2 weeks, I tried to contact him. We own a business together, so I can track certain things, particularly him telling clients that he's leaving me because I'm wasted all the time, and that was adorable, via email and via Facebook. He took $3,000 that he was supposed to drop off to my dad in repayment for a loan for our work truck that we just sold. He also had $2,100 that was just deposited, so he left with at least $5,100. Promise this is relevant. About a week and a half after he left, his exes randomly reached out to me to tell me what a piece of crap he is and that he has this crazy criminal record and a bunch of other effed up stuff that he's done. Like, really messed up. Some of these things I've heard pieces from him, some literally don't make sense, and some freak me out as though I was with a total fraud. I don't know who this person is.
That can happen with, like, the way I've had borderline personality disorder described to me was by my therapist when I was going. I had a friend who was going through this, and it was like, it was tripping me up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do I approach this friend? And he said that you're with this person, and at times, like, everything is like just totally normal with them. But then there comes this like alien that like latches onto the back of their head.
Yeah.
And you can't see it. It's on the back of their head.
Yeah.
But now this thing is piloting them.
It's basically
driving
a different
them all
person.
right.
You're interacting with,
But it's like same
example's sake.
face, different person, and you're like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah.
And it'll go back and forth between these like periods of like being in control and being out of control.
Which creates OP's feeling of like, feels like I don't know this person.
Right.
Because it's like, yeah,
And
effectively.
it's really hard to navigate.
Yeah. So the next day, I was finally able to get a note to him when a mutual friend picked up some of his stuff. He reached out and we decided to meet. Because we've been married for almost 2 years, I've had to be very careful about divorce since I've owned my house that we live in for 8 years. I needed to consider protecting myself from him taking half. So I'm walking on eggshells trying to gauge the situation and see if he wants divorce. If I can just have him served and basically what the F is going on. He's very volatile, flighty, wants me to drive halfway across the country with him to visit his family a day and a half after we reconnect. I'm against him because I said no. Also a bad wife, the C word, all sorts of other nasty things. Then I'm his queen, quote unquote, and the only one who understands him. In one of his calmer periods, we were able to talk about the back and forth name calling. He said, maybe I'm bipolar, which I know he is not. And for some reason, I just blurted out that maybe he has borderline personality disorder. I didn't even know anything about it when I said it. Long story short, read the first paragraph. He is basically a textbook case. This was a revelation. Being on mood stabilizers, I decided to let him have one of my pills, which, and Opie said her medication is also used to treat borderline personality disorder. Not frequently, but it is. And it was night and day difference. Also, please don't get on me about taking the medication, taking a while to become effective. The same thing happened to me when I first took it 9 years ago. It was like this peace came over me, like when you have other chill pills, but not sleepy or loopy. We talked about all sorts of fights that we've had that bad year, money in general, him stealing my dad's loan money, which he thought he had a right to for survival. I pulled the transactions from our business account and found that he had withdrawn another $2,000 from this time period. So I think we're up to a little over $7,000 that he's taken out.
That's quite a lot of money.
That's not nothing. He still claims he needed the money and cannot account for where it all went. A basic apartment costs $1,000 to $1,200 monthly here, so I'm not sure why he needed $7,000 for survival.
I think there could be addiction at play here.
The math ain't mathin'. He's also apparently thought I'd been cheating for the last year, which he has never mentioned to me. He lied about his gambling and substance abuse, apologized for being abusive, and actually used that term, discussed all of the accusations from the crazy exes that, OP had learned about after he left. He agreed to sign the divorce papers.
All right, this is not gonna work.
Yeah.
At least I hope that's where he's going. He's like, this is the truth. Clearly, I am not built for a relationship like this. I think we need the divorce. We'll do the divorce.
It kind of seems like, and this is what OP was basically saying, he's had that full 180 and is now like, I see everything and I acknowledge everything and I'm down to like sign the divorce and like make this easy. And
yeah, true.
So I had them on hand if I needed to file, but I haven't yet. I said that I would work with him. Side note, that was on my 40th birthday. So happy birthday to me. Where we are. It's been almost 2 weeks since the end of the ghosting. He has his own place. We hang out and have stayovers sometimes. He is taking meds, but still throws tantrum. He knows that borderline personality disorder will be a lot of work and a lifelong challenge. My family and friends are obviously not happy with him, to say the least, but they support me. He has obviously shattered my trust in so many ways. Flightiness, money. I found out that he's been spending thousands on fun stuff for himself while I'm paying for all of our joint activities. Substances, gambling, etc., etc.
Yeah.
I can't help but feel that he's cheated with how much he's asked me if I have. I never have. And he has access to my phone to whereabouts at all times. I work from home. He swears he hasn't. I'm terrified of his blow-ups and it's exhausting. But I'm married. And now we have a baseline to work from as far as him getting help. By the way, you can always help us by hanging out with us.
That's right.
And tapping our profile to join live at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube.
You can just go ahead and tap it and join it. And if you're watching this in the future, we might even be live right now. You should check.
Just do it. Just do it. Before we get into this last part, Dakota, just quick gut check. How are you feeling right now?
Well,
is this
I mean,
resolving the way you think it should?
I think that they need to probably work on their like own issues separately. I think they need a little bit independent sort of reading time to get in touch with what they need. And it's like, look, if you're gonna marry somebody, it's like it should be somebody that you're like, I'm down to try to make this work no matter what, essentially.
Ride or die. So the last section, seeking advice. I feel a sense of obligation to be there for him as long as he's trying to get help and improve. The divorce papers expire in a couple of weeks, and I'm scared that he'll leave again if they lapse, and I'll be screwed trying to track him down to protect my house and resolve our other business issues. My friends, family, and therapists think I'm being too loyal / compassionate in putting his life first, and I will never be able to reach my potential if I stay. I don't disagree, but can't help feel like I'm abandoning him. Even though he honestly treats me pretty crappy in general, I still see the person I fell in love with. In writing this all out, it just seems quite obvious. Maybe I just need a validation. It seems like it's at least going in a good direction. I do think that OP should at least take some time for herself to improve on herself and him saying, but you know what?
Maybe you don't have to go straight into divorce. Just like do a separation just for like figure out how you guys feel being separated.
Agreed.
And if you're like, okay, our lives actually feel a lot more manageable and a lot better, you might want to just be divorced. Sometimes, I don't know.
You know what, Dakota? I agree. I ain't mad at it. But that's it. That's all we got. That's all she wrote, literally.